Okay, it looks like we're all set. Happy Tuesday, February 27th. It has been a week since I've done a Facebook Live. As many of you know, I was scheduled to watch Riley from Thursday afternoon through Sunday, which I did. We started a little earlier on Thursday than I planned, but that was okay. And that's the reason I canceled that Facebook Live, thinking that I would have the opportunity to make a quick video or jump online and do that over the next couple of days when she was napping. But poor thing, we had a really rough night on Thursday night. She's been sleeping through the night for months and months. She was up 4 times. And so when grandma doesn't get much sleep, she's very off. So no, it would not have been good for me to try and make a video like that. Poor thing, I thought she was teething. She had a little bit of a runny nose, but I think in the end she had a bit of a cold. So no wonder she got up 4 times on the first night. But boy, that hit me hard. It made me think, I know why God gives us children when we're young. But anyways, it was fun having her here. She really is a delight. The nights got better. The last night she was here, she slept like she normally does through the night. But we had fun playing and such, and she had lots of company. Cousin Allison came over, my girl's cousin. And then my sister and brother-in-law were here a couple of times, and Riley's grandpa Knabe came over a couple of times as well. So all fun and good, except then Sunday night, I woke up with a sore throat and it's still hanging on, but I was bound and determined I was going to pull through today to do a Facebook Live for you. So yes, my voice sounds a little froggy. And if I have to excuse myself to sneeze, cough, or blow my nose, please bear with me. Because it does feel good to be back with you. On the last Facebook Live, I featured the Delicate Forest stamp set. And with that, we made 2 sets of cards going from simple to stepped up. Here's the other set, simple to stepped up. And had a lot of fun with that, kept mine monochromatic, but you can do this what I call simple to sensational technique by just adding a few little changes to your original outstanding simple card. And you can see how I did that with these and get some ideas for doing so on your card creations by going to stampinpiece.com. Today I'm going to use the same stamp set, but also a die, in particular this die, okay, that goes with the coordinating stamp set. In addition, I'll be using the Meandering Meadow 6x6 Designer Series paper and the adhesive back dragonflies and bird embellishments. Quick note about the Meandering Meadow Designer Series paper. It is unavailable to order right now until about March 11th. So we're just a little over 2 weeks away. So I'm going to be watching that every day. I had advertised, in fact, registration closed on Saturday for my Meandering Meadow One Sheet Wonder class to go. Lo and behold, 2 days before registration closed, it went to the non-orderable list. But I've contacted all my people. I appreciate that customers are so understanding of issues like that, and they're all willing to wait the extra 2 weeks to get their fabulous kits. So I just want to say that up front. So if you like what you see today and you're like, oh, I need that DSP Meandering Meadow, it will come up as unorderable. But please know, it is coming back. It is coming back within about 2 weeks. Look for it around March 11th. It seems that many of our products have been coming in a little bit earlier than expected a lot of the time, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed and hoping the same for that. Excuse me. So I'm going to switch my camera around now, and while I'm doing that, would you please share this live video and invite others to join us for some fun and creative inspiration today. And in the last Facebook Live, boy, we had a time with getting Facebook to cooperate with us. And all kinds of crazy things were happening. But I think today will be better. We are expecting some severe storms here in Columbus soon. But hopefully we'll get through this Facebook Live without any interruption from the weather. Now, today I'm going to be making 2 cards, and each of them uses a garden green card base, okay, 5.5 by 8.5, and I scored it 4 1/4 down the middle. And each will use this die from the Delicate Forest die set. Now, I should tell you before I cut this out, it cuts out all the details. It does not cut out any kind of shape that you pick up and use on something else, okay? So you're going to either use this on a card front or a layer for your card, because it does not cut around the outside edge to cut out that shape. But I decided, since both cards start with the same base using the same die, that I would die cut both of these at the same time. But the cards are different. When I finish, they will look very similar, but they will be different. One will be a fold. And you can see it cuts out really well. And this is what I meant when I said it doesn't cut around an outside edge. Okay, this would just be scrap. Let me cut the other one. I'm going to flip this over so we don't get any of those little pieces making impressions on our card front. So you can see this is sized well for a card front. It's also sized well for a layer to put on your card fronts or inside of your card, whatever. And I dropped one. And that's it. So I'm going to set that die aside. Oops. I don't have my little spongy thing here, but I don't think I need it because these cut out so easily. I'll be able to get off these little pieces lickety-split. And I can even use my piercing tool or my pick tool if I need to. Now, some of the leaves are cut out partially, and that just gives a little more dimension to that die cut area. Okay. You'll find that each of my cards uses the very same elements. We just use them a little bit differently. So I've got my card base that I die cut. I have a piece of 4 inch by 5 1/4 basic white. And then I have a piece of the Meandering Meadow Designer Series paper. Now, this is going to be the part that's different for each of the cards. I'll be cutting the pieces, the 6x6 piece, differently for each of the two cards, okay? So I've marked on here with a little sticky note, and I'll put these dimensions on in the post when I add this to stampinpiece.com. So what I'm going to tell you is that this die works really well with a lot of your scene DSPs, but you can make your own scenes using some of our stamp sets. Okay, it doesn't have to be the Meandering Meadow, but I like how these complement each other. But what I'm going to tell you is I need a piece that's 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. So same size as my card front. I would move it around a little bit and see where you would like to do your cutting. Here you've got this pretty path, a little more color. Here you're pretty much, it's the trees and some of the yellow flowers here. Oops, I'm out of the screen. Sorry about that. So, so think about that. I want to include this path. I think it's a path, maybe it's a stream. So what I'm going to do is cut my 4 1/4 inch from the right side. So I'm at 4 1/4 inches. And then I need 5.5. And you can decide here too. Do you want to cut off the top half, or do you want to cut off, or not half, the 1/2 inch from the top or the 1/2 inch from the bottom? It really makes no difference. It's just a personal preference with you when you're looking at that piece of designer series paper to use. I'm going to pull out my silicone craft mat. And I'm just going to use a little bit. Now again, I've cut my DSP to be the same size as my card front. I'm using a little bit of the liquid glue, multi-purpose glue, to adhere this. You can see I don't need a lot. When I lay this down, I want to get my side and top and bottom lined up, and as close as I can get to that fold. And if you want to cut even just a little smidgen from that 4 1/4 width, you can do that. And if you get any of it just sticking out a little bit, you can just trim it off. But sometimes things will shift a little bit when they're real close to the fold like this. Okay, I'd say that looks pretty good. I don't want to mess with it too much. Sometimes if you start trimming the slightest little bit, it actually draws more attention to that when people didn't even notice it in the first place. All right, then I'm going to adhere this piece of basic white to the inside. This is 5 1/4 by 4 inches. So it is a standard size that I use on the inside of my A2 cards. Super pretty card, right? Oh, I see a little bit of the cardstock that I want punched out. There. It's trapped under there. Okay. Well, I think I got them now. Okay. I went ahead and die cut my label or my banner already. You can see that this is from a piece of the same designer series paper, just using the back. And I'll show you in this die set where I got this large die from. Well, can't seem to pick it up. It also includes some leaves, some curvy edges with leaves or trees. And then it's got these two dies that you can use for sentiments, or even maybe some layers behind punched pieces, something like that. I'm going to stamp with "You make good things better." I love that sentiment, by the way. I love all the sentiments in the stamp set. But to me, this is just a fun way to say, I enjoy spending time with you, or thank you for whatever somebody has done, for helping or being there or whatever it may be. Just a kind of a unique way to say thank you for being in my circle, or thank you for helping me. And because this is a photopolymer set, it was real easy for me to line that up in that piece that I die cut before going live. If it were red rubber and I couldn't see through, I would probably stamp first, then line the die up on top of it and die cut. But you know me, if I can limit the amount of die cutting I do while we're live, that's what I prefer, just because it can be kind of cumbersome to do that. And then I'm going to add this to the card front with a couple of dimensionals. Take a moment to trim around the leftover edge of my dimensionals, right? Waste not, want not. Or in my thought is, waste not, because then we can have a little more money to buy more stamps and more pretty papers and things like that. Fun embellishments. Okay, I like that. I love the dimension you get just from the die. And then you pop up that sentiment even nicer. And let's add, again, these are dragonflies and birds. So I'm going to add some of these birds. Okay, we'll put one here. There's two different shapes of birds flying two different directions, which is kind of fun, in my opinion. Do something like that. And there's that card, right? It looks like a wow card, but it's really quite simple, isn't it? Love it. All right, let's make our second card. As I said, I would be using the same garden green card base with the same die from the Delicate Forest collection. Let's see, I think I've got all those out this time. Now I do. Now this, we're going to cut the DSP a little bit differently, and I chose a different one. It also has a path, but it has a little more of the pinks in there instead of the yellow flowers and the lighter color of the trees. Any of them are great. Any of them are great. So again, now let me remove that one. For this one, I'm cutting it 4.5, okay, 4.5 wide by 5 1/4 high. 4.5 by 5 1/4. So again, play with your DSP a little bit. See how you like it. What part of the DSP do you want in showing through the die, the center of the die cut? Okay, there's one with more flowers, maybe a meadow. Here's more the stream, or the path. So you decide which direction you want to go with that, okay? I think I want this direction. So I'm going to turn my DSP so that I'm cutting from the right side. I'm going to cut at 4.5 inches. And then I'm going to turn it. And again, you can decide, do you want to cut off 3/4 of an inch from the top or 3/4 of an inch from the bottom, or split? It doesn't really matter. It's just a matter of personal preference. So I'm going to do this. Now, before I use this on my card, I need to make a score line. And I'm going to score this at 4 inches. Okay, 4 inches. Don't press too hard with that scoring tool because DSP is much thinner than cardstock is. Just going to fold that over, give it a nice crease. And now I'm going to pull in that piece of basic white cardstock. 4 inches by 5.25. 4 inches by 5.25. What I'm going to do is line up the edges, and then I'm going to adhere them together using that small 1/2 inch flap. Okay, so let me just add, I'm using the Stampin seal, but you can certainly use the multi-purpose glue here. Again, you want to match up the edges. And then you're going to fold that 1/2 inch flap over. Maybe go over that, fold that crease again with your bone folder. And this is what you have. Okay. Now with that in the closed position, I'm going to add this to the inside of my card base. So I've got it closed. It's just easier to work with if you close that up. And then I'm going to center this on the inside or the back flap. And looking for my, here it is. So I used the die of the same shape, and I used some of the same DSP. I think it's kind of fun when we can stamp on our DSP, and it adds a little bit of interest, especially since it's got all these colors that we took from that same sheet of DSP. So I'm using that same sentiment. You make good things better, and I'm stamping with black Memento ink. Black Memento is my go-to black, more so than StazOn. I only use StazOn if I'm watercoloring. Everything else I use black Memento. I just like, to me, it just works better. But you might feel differently. You might have a preference for the black StazOn. Plus, this cleans up with water with our Simply Chamois. Black StazOn, you have to use the StazOn cleaner. So just one more thing to have. Now here, I thought about putting it here, but to do that, you're going to basically see some of the adhesive. And it just doesn't look as clean and sharp to me. If that doesn't bother you, don't put it there if that's what you want. But what I decided to do was put it on the inside of this card, so the back of the DSP. And it's just going to lay flat here. So let me show you what the fun fold looks like now. Okay, cute, huh? And pretty darn easy, right? Sure, of course it is. You guys can do this. I have no doubt. Let me add some of the bird embellishments. I want to put one. Well, maybe more than one. Put one here. Yeah, I'm going to put 3 here. Why not? So a fun surprise inside. And then I'll add some to the outside as well. Yes, Jenny, you said that so well. A doable card. Yes, it's a fun fold, but it's definitely something all of us can do. I have faith in you people. Absolutely. Don't go doubting yourselves, because that'll hurt my feelings. Seriously, I do believe that this is a craft that everybody can enjoy. And I have no doubt that all of you can do this fun fold. So here's where I said the 2 cards will look very similar when they're finished. But here's the first one. Pretty much a standard open-close card. And then here's the second one. A simple fun fold. And I think both are super effective. I think this area right here, you could even stamp a small sentiment directly onto the DSP right here. Or you can even attach maybe the small oval with a small sentiment, something like that if you choose. Excuse me. So, what do you think? Oh, hi, Bonnie and Joan, and let's see who else is here. Kathy, Tanya. Oh, so many of you. We're almost at 40 people. I'm so glad I got on. This just fills my cup, I'll say. Fills my soul with goodness. And when you're not feeling well and you can still gather safely with your people like this, it's good medicine. So I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad you're with me today. If you would like to have your name put into the drawing to, yes, I think Riley brought it to me. At first I thought she was teething. She was drooling a lot. Her nose was slightly runny. But when she was up 4 times during the night, I knew something was wrong. So yes, I think she brought that little cold to me. But that's okay. She brought lots of snuggles and giggles and all of that too. But if you would like to have your name put into the drawing to receive one of these cards, please type in the comments now. I'm going to say Meandering Meadows. Meandering Meadows. That's the name of the DSP. Okay. Oh, Melanie, thanks. Yes, Kathy, kids easily pass germs. And she was with her Schmidt cousins, I want to say the Saturday before, because Oma and Opa Schmidt took all of the grandkids to Disney on Ice. So, and Ben and Charlie just love on her, and they go to school. So it's to be expected. Worse things, right? Worse things could be. All right, Meandering Meadows. And one more reminder about the Meandering Meadow. It is not available to order right now, but it is coming back. It will be back on or around March 11th. So just over 2 weeks. And I'll be watching for it because I had several people. Oh, we should stamp some envelopes. I had several dozen people sign up for my Meandering Meadow One Sheet Wonder card to go. So I need to take care of those people. Unfortunately, they'll get their kits a little bit late, but thank goodness they're so understanding. And I really appreciate, the fact that they're understanding about not getting their class to go kit right away, and knowing that shipping issues are beyond my control. I always tell people I have the best customers. It's true. It's true. I have such wonderful customers, wonderful viewers. Add lots of happiness to my days. So I just took one of those silhouette stamps. This is the large tree from the Delicate Forest stamp set to decorate my envelopes. All right, everybody. Thank you again for joining me. I'm going to go rest my throat for a little bit, drink some more water, probably have a little bit of soup too, because then I have a meeting with some of my team business builders this evening at 7. We usually go about 2 hours. It's probably going to be shutting down a little early, as long as my throat lasts, right? All right, everybody, thank you again. Have a great evening, and I look forward to doing some stamping with you on Thursday, which is February 29th. It's a leap year. So I'm thinking of is we have an extra day of stamping, and it's an extra day of celebration, if people haven't taken advantage of that yet. And I will be posting more about my Thursday Facebook Live probably tomorrow, because I'll be doing some fun things that day. All right, bye-bye. Happy stamping.